Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Maggie, and welcome to the M&M Debrief, the podcast where Mike and Maggie discuss the top stories in politics and sports and try to make sense of the headlines. Mike, do we have any follow-ups from the last episode?
I only have one follow-up, actually.
Oh.
The cyclosporiasis deal. I had mentioned it might be as a bacteria or a virus, but it's actually a parasite.
It's a parasite.
So that's why washing might not be okay for you. So just got to watch that lettuce, especially if you go to Taco Bell or if you buy it from Taylor Farms. So you can
Right.
buy
Go ahead.
You can buy the packets. I mean, you can have packages of Taylor Farms. They're okay, but the lettuce that they sent to Taco Bell might be an issue. So you probably want to get a couple of bean burritos for a couple of weeks until they get it cleared up. You want to hold off on the tacos, and then you'll probably be okay.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, that hit me hard because I'm trying like heck to keep my lunches under $10 a lunch, and Taco Bell is about one of the only places I can go where I can get lunch for under $10. So
Yeah, it hurts, honey.
it's killing me. It's hurting.
But now you know they are on the front lines, shall we say, in all of this. So
Mhm.
they are gonna be more careful than ever now to make sure their lettuce is good to go, right?
Yes.
Maybe they're actually gonna be safer, ironically.
Yeah. If they could just make sure that their beef is actually beef, we might be
Oh,
okay.
there's
But
that. Yeah.
no, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Taco Bell, and we're looking for a sponsor. So Taco Bell, if you're out there, feel free to call us. We'll sponsor you. So.
Very good.
Alright. We took, we skipped an episode, so we got a double episode here, I guess. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here, but
Mm.
let's see. So the war is cranking on high here. Before I get to that, I'd like to at least bring up a couple of, financial related things related to the war, and, it has to do with the price of oil compared to the refined product. So obviously you guys hear about the oil, the price of a barrel of oil on the futures market or the spot market, but the refined products also have a futures market and a price. So you refine that into gasoline, or you refine it into a distillate, which is either diesel or a heating oil, and those products also have a futures market. And
Hmm.
there's starting to be more of a disparity between the actual price of oil and the actual price of the distilled or refined products. And
The raw versus the distill. Okay.
yes, exactly. And
Refined.
it's something called the crack spread, which is the difference, what the profit per barrel for the refiners compared to a barrel of oil compared to a gallon of gas. That they call it the crack spread, and it's basically how much money refiners are making, and the more money they make, then that's bad, because you could tell there's a disparate difference between with the
Hmm.
oil. So it's the
Right.
crack spread if you want to Google it. And then so something called RBOB, which is gasoline reformulated blend and oxygenated blend. That's what
Okay.
RBOB. That's up 15% over 2 weeks. And the crack spread, which is the profit per barrel of refiners,
The
it gets
difference.
difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
has become gone up to over $90 a barrel, which is really,
$90?
yeah, that would be the profit that the refiners are making.
Isn't that pretty much the cost of a raw
Yeah, right. That
barrel?
mean right. Yeah,
And so they're
exactly.
selling it at
So the
double?
Right. So they're telling it's telling that there's a difference between the actual spot market versus what you see in the futures market. So it's another
Wow.
indication that someone's hinking around with the futures market. Either the Treasury's selling stuff or somebody's suppressing this stuff, the futures market. So
Is
plus
it is
plus
it is it fair to say that somebody is actually making money out of all our misery
mm, well, that's
or
definitely a
causing the misery?
possibility, but someone trying to suppress might be actually the Treasury Department or something, just to kind of keep the
Really?
prices low while they drain the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to kind of help supply stay up. So anyway, I didn't want to get too financial here, but if you're living a normal life, and there are other indications that things might pop here. So the gasoline and the diesel crack spread is going up compared to the price of oil, which is kind of staying down, except
Wow.
in the last few days, and it's starting to perk up a little bit because the war is taking off. So anyway, yeah, so things are really firing up in the Middle East. We are bombing the heck out of the civilian infrastructure of Iran, pipelines, electrical grids, nuclear plants, and that sort of stuff. Iran is responding by going after all the American facilities in the Gulf Coast states. They're not quite going after Israel yet, although Israel does have a huge news clampdown, so they might be getting hit there. It's just not coming out. But they are now hitting desalination plants in Kuwait. They're going after same thing in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and it's been like that for about a week, to the point where they are now calling us and saying, please stop this because we're about to become inhabitable. If it,
Uninhabitable.
uninhabitable, sorry, if you don't stop this, eventually they're going to take out our desalination plants and we're not going to be able to
We
live.
can't
So
live here.
right,
Right.
so
No water.
so the
Can't drink.
Saudis, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm no fan of the Saudis, but yeah, so I think so. The last couple days we've kind of backed off a little bit on that sort of stuff, but it is hot as hell as far as the war goes. Iran is just kind of playing rope-a-dope. For those of you that are boxing fans, Muhammad Ali had a boxing match where he just sort of laid against the rope and let his opponent punch himself out, and then kind of came back and beat him. It's called the rope-a-dope. You kind of fake illness or fake weakness, and then you kind of wake up and come alive. I think people are starting to think that's what Iran is doing, and we're just letting America shoot itself out, run out of ammunition, and then they're gonna start coming back. So things are pretty fired up there. Let's see. Yeah. So one thing that Iran did about a week ago, we weren't able to talk about it on our episode there, was that the Iranians are now demanding profit, a cut of the profit that Jared Kushner and Wickoff have made.
Really?
They put out a post, or it was a comment, that they had figured that the people making all the money off of the inside information that they were getting is Kushner and Wickoff, and they figure they've made about $9 billion off of all that, and the
Billion with
and yeah, be a billion with a B,
seriously. Sorry, I'm
and
I'm sorry, but
and
that's a lot of money.
yeah, and the Iranians are saying, "Look, we want half of that since you're making money off of bombing us, and your son-in-law and your other partner are making all this money. We want half of it. We want 4.5 billion from them because we know they're making money off of it." So it's kind of half-hearted and snarky comment, but pretty prescient, if you ask me. But so they.
If I may, basically
Mhm.
Iranian is alerting the world that Kushner and Witkoff are in it for the money. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Everybody's been talking about it. A lot of people, all the independent journalists have been talking about the Friday night to Monday trade. You know, you sell
yeah.
everything thing on Friday, buy it all back on Monday, kind of thing. We've all been talking about it, but this is the first time that the actual sovereign government is saying, "Hey, look, your people are personally profiting off of this, and we want a cut."
And they're
So
and they're naming names.
they're naming
Right.
names. Yes. So.
So, if I may, I would assume that I would hope some of our legislators will get a little upset at the fact that potentially this war is being managed and run in a way to
hmm.
enhance the wealth of the son-in-law and good buddy of the cabinet member of the president.
Well, there are plenty of people who are pissed off about it for sure. There's just not enough, and they don't have power to do anything about it. So there's a lot of people who are pissed off about it, but the structure of the Senate and the House, and there's nothing that can be done because the Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, doesn't care.
So was
You know,
yeah.
and John Thune, used to be a decent fellow. I mean, she's managing a tough situation, but they're just not going to do anything about it. So yeah, there's plenty of people who are pissed off. That's for sure. But
Well, I hope
just
somebody is writing this down in their notes, and of course, these people will probably be pardoned at some point.
yeah, that's well, I'm hearing. Well, speaking of that, the people are talking if the Democrats, what should the Democrats do if they end up taking control of the House? And they think they may start impeachment process, but they might not articles of impeachment, but they might
Mhm.
not actually impeach him because all you got to do is start the articles of impeachment, and then you get to investigate everything, and it's kind of like discovery in a lawsuit where you can get access to all the recordings and all the emails and everything. They don't actually plan on impeaching him, but
Actually impeaching, just getting all the information so they
if
can
they
throw
so
him in
they
jail
can
later?
yeah, so they can publish it or get it out and go, yeah, he said this and he said that and yada yada yada. Probably still wouldn't be able to. They might be able to impeach him, but probably it'd be the same deal where he wouldn't get convicted in the Senate.
Right.
So, but at least you get the information out. I guess that's the logic. Let me see. Yeah, and the whole deal with Russia and Ukraine, since I think at least Russia now has an export ban. They can't export oil anymore, mainly because they all their refining capabilities is getting killed. Like 50% of the refining capabilities is now taken out by Ukraine. That's also going to have an effect on the oil prices. But they got to keep all that whatever they're making. They got to keep it for themselves. And so there's the Ukrainian Russian war and now the Iran war is all getting intertwined more and more.
Right.
So
I'm just
that's
gonna
kind of
pause there. Is there a chance, to your point, is there a chance that the 2 wars could conflate into one huge war?
yes, I would say there's a chance. Absolutely. It's not unreasonable to think about that. I'm just trying to consider who's going to be on whose side. Okay, so Ukraine, Russia invaded Ukraine. We supported Ukraine. So that means Ukraine is going to come back and help us. But except now that Trump took over, he stopped giving support to Ukraine, and Iran
Iran is dead.
Iran was giving drone technology to Russia, so Ukrainians don't like the Iranians, and so they wanna support America, but then Russia, since they're pissed at us for helping Ukraine, they wanna help Iran. So,
Used already. Okay.
yeah, I'm confused already too, but, so it's certainly not unreasonable that all these things will conflate or combine or somehow. I'm just trying to
And
figure out
it's
who's.
interesting that it's around what? Drones and oil.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's basically it. Who can supply the drones, and who can control the oil or keep the oil?
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it would be Russia and Iran against Ukraine and America. That's probably what it'll end up being. And
And Europe.
Europe is supporting Ukraine,
Right, Europe and
a-
Ukraine.
and then how the Gulf Coast
Israel
Commission
and
Council,
US,
Israel and
Europe,
U.S.
Ukraine, and Iran and Russia.
and China. China's probably with Russia and Iran.
China's gonna play the referee. I'm in the middle. I'm
Yeah,
agnostic. I don't care. I just want them all to
yeah.
suffer and us to win.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you guys
Alright,
you
so,
guys go fight each other, that's fine.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if, it kind of expanded and, it's getting kinda interesting, as
It
long
is
as
interesting.
long as we're over here and, far away from all that.
Mm,
Yeah, so, yeah, Ukraine is so good at refinery destruction now that it's affecting world prices, and,
wow.
uh,
Well,
speaking of
good for Ukraine. I'm sorry. It got no respect for a while there, and now they finally are getting the respect of the world. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty punky. They're
Mhm.
spunky. They're spunky. They're hanging tough. That's for sure. They've got some issues in their past with the Nazis, but they're fighting like hell. None of these. That's the one thing. None of these countries are angels. The Iranians are not angels. Ukrainians are not angels. The Russians were not angels. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
if you think of it as a sporting event, it's really tough to cheer for any of these guys because you could cheer for half of them, and then the other half they're so anyway. Speaking of Ukraine, they did fire one of their top generals, a guy named Fedorov, who was a huge pushing the drones. And apparently, if this Fedorov guy got into a yeah with one of the more corrupt generals, and Zelensky sided with the corrupt general. So this is kind of the sidebar on a lot of these Ukrainian issues, is that Ukraine is so corrupt that people don't want to help them, but then they're fighting against Russia, which we kind of do want to help them because they're doing that. So, but it's a huge uproar that he fired this guy Fedorov, and he was kind of a popular drone-oriented general, and he got on the wrong side of one of the more corrupt older generals, and Zelensky sided with the older corrupt general. So his people are not happy. So
Right.
we'll see. And there's some protests going on. We'll see if it winds up being anything, but it's a little more obtuse there, I guess, with Ukraine. So, all right. What else have I got here on the foreign desk, international New World Order desk? I'm hearing more things about Pentagon planning for Cuba.
Cuba.
Yeah, because it's not bad enough we got a war. We got to have another one here. So they're thinking Trump needs an easy win. So he should be able to roll into Cuba and take it over, since we're basically the people are
They're
starting to.
on oxygen, the poor
Yeah,
people of Cuba.
well, we're
They're an
basically
easy, it's an
we're
easy win
basically
for a
we're
reason.
basically committing war crimes against Cuba. We're blockading them and starving them to death. We're
Yeah.
also committing war crimes against Iran. We're bombing their civilian infrastructure. But hey, who's counting? So anyway, don't be surprised if something happens with Cuba. I'm hearing more planning-oriented activities coming out of the Pentagon regarding Cuba.
So if anybody wants to visit Cuba before hell breaks loose, go now.
Yeah, yeah, for our Canadian listeners out there, you probably want no, don't go to Cuba. You can't get out. There's no gasoline. There's no jet fuel. You can't get out. So if you haven't been to Cuba, I think you missed your chance.
It's over.
Let me see. Israel is starting to make direct threats against Spain.
Seriously, they just won the World Cup. Are you that
They
jealous?
Yeah, they the leading critic of Israel in Europe is Spain. The president there, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He's doing well, complaining. But anyway, so Israel, Netanyahu makes very ominous thoughts like, if your trains stop running or if your electrical grid goes down, don't be surprised. Kind of making very innuendo threats to Spain. So anyway, we'll see if anything comes out of that.
Pedro Sanchez is the prime minister.
Sanchez, yes. So
Sanchez. Okay.
yeah, so he's definitely fighting a good fight.
Good for him.
What do we got here? Oh, the UK has a new prime minister.
That's
Burnham,
right.
Andrew Burnham finally got elected or promoted, whatever it is. He's the new prime minister of the United Kingdom.
Seems
So
like a nice guy.
what's the over under on how long it'll last? I'm gonna go with 11 months, but I got that on Kelsey. So
Okay, I actually feel positive about him. Well, he's younger. He's a little younger. Not young, but he's not in his 60s and 70s and what.
Starmer's kind of young, isn't he?
Uh, I think Burnham's younger, and he's, what was he, mayor of Manchester? I
Yeah,
just
the
Manchester, Labor. I just think he's a man of the people, and the first thing I don't know, the first thing he said that I heard is that we've basically messed up, fucked up, and we can do better. So I think he's generally funny and self-deprecating. Do you
mm,
know who else was funny? Zelensky of the U.
mm,
So I think there's something about the character of leaders when they are self-deprecating and genuine and, maybe even a little funny. There's something about them that makes them very human and maybe more in touch with the people for what it's
less less corporate, less robotic.
Yeah, exactly. More normal, more like us.
Uh,
So
he should vote to get back into Brexit, especially now with Europe separating from America. He should have a referendum to get back into Europe. And
but would the European Union even want them back?
yeah, there definitely would be conditions, that's for sure.
My nose would be out of joint. I'm gonna say, "Too sorry, too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
Can't go
Yeah,
back."
I think they'd be savvy, and they'd rather have the UK, even though the UK was shitheads with Brexit. but they'd still rather have them because the more the merrier, when Russia's thinking about attacking Europe and America is running away, I'd take them in even though I'd be equally pissed,
Prodigal
but
child. Okay, fine. You can come back.
the prodigal son returns, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
alright. Anyway, let's get to domestic side. Man, there's a lot of domestic things going up here.
Busy.
What do we got here? I've got they voted the House voted to for permanent daylight savings time.
Yes, finally, someone saw the light. Ha! No, really, seriously.
Well,
Really?
it's the
Thank
Senate
you.
that's kind of
How
being
long did
shitheads
it
about
take
it.
us to make this change? Go ahead.
Well, the Senate is still kind of holding it up. I'm sure it's their donors.
I'll
This is
write a
just
strongly worded letter to the Senate.
well, yeah, right. Well, they're voting. Whoever's paying them, I'm sure their lobbyists are paying them off to not do this. I'm sure. Yeah, that we'll see. We'll see if it actually happens. But
Right.
at least the House voted on it to pass it. So I think they've done it a
Okay.
couple times before. But we'll see if it actually goes forward this time. So.
All right.
We've got Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. I'll never call him the Secretary of War. Although, actually, I said this before. It's probably actually is a better name because we don't defend anything. We just go to war. So you might be actually better off being
Well,
the Secretary of
these
Defense.
guys are just picking fights with people. Yeah.
He is in favor of gender affirming care only for men of a certain age. If he's gonna have testosterone tests now for soldiers over 30 and give them testosterone support if they want it. So glad to see that the secretary is going with the gender affirming care. It's just as usual. It's just white men. Oh, not white men.
No,
All
no,
men.
no, honey. Actually, I have to correct you there. I was
Hmm.
very impressed that he was being, equal opportunity, that he's actually including women.
So
Female
women can
female
get
soldiers,
testosterone?
yes, are part of this low testosterone test.
Hmm,
I know.
go figure.
Go figure.
All right.
So, if you found a female who has high testosterone, no, that wouldn't happen. But anyway, I'm just saying that they're
They they
including
they
women.
they can get testosterone
They
support
will also have the opportunity.
therapy if they want.
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. All righty.
So weird. So weird.
This is a brave new world, honey. So my home state, Wisconsin, is going after Elon Musk. If you recall,
Yes.
during the 2024 elections, or it was the Supreme Court in Wisconsin had a vote, and
Right.
he was basically paying people to vote for certain ones. So that is illegal in Wisconsin. You can't pay people to vote a certain way, and
And
it
how do
sounds
you
like
actually know that they voted the way you want them to?
yeah, good point.
Unless it was a mail-in vote and they could, like, watch you
Watch
do
you
it.
do it, maybe something like that. Well, either
Did
way,
they offer, like, $1,000,000, like a lottery?
yeah, it's illegal to offer people money to vote a certain way, and in
We
Wisconsin,
all know this. He's an idiot. Yeah.
yeah, so, hopefully the Attorney General of Wisconsin will go after him here,
Good.
so
Good.
let me see, Trump had a big speech last Thursday, so he's laying the groundwork for election, challenges. He knows he's gonna get his ass kicked, and, he's
He wants
laying the
to say that
ground.
it was rigged,
He wants to say that it was rigged,
and he's building up the backstory.
building up the
So when he comes
backstory.
out and he says, "See, I told you it was rigged,"
It was
people
rigged.
will go, "Well, maybe he's right."
Yeah. So he's blaming China for it, but he actually revealed in his documents that Russia was involved in the 2024 and probably the 2020 election. And
Uh,
so the documents that he released actually said that Russia was involved, even though he was blaming China. And anyway, the larger point is that he's laying the groundwork for election fraud when most likely when he gets his ass kicked in the midterms.
mhm.
He
And
was
Russia's role, in fairness, just to clarify, Russia's role was more of, like, social media and that kind of
y
thing. They didn't
yeah,
actually, you know, infiltrate the electronic voting systems to
right,
change votes or anything like that. Nobody's
right.
actually
There is
shown that or proved that. Nothing ever
Yeah,
happened.
there's been no actual evidence of actual
No,
vote flipping. It's all
none.
yeah, you're right. Social media and other influential, elements here.
Influencing people's votes, right, is not good either if you're a foreign government, but
Yeah, you don't
nobody
want
actually did anything to the
we can have all the corporations we want. Our own, as long as they're our own corporations influencing unduly our elections, that's okay. But if a foreign government does it, then that's not okay. So,
yeah,
he'd actually implied that the director of national intelligence, when in his first term, did not do anything or didn't do enough to fix the elections. Well, that guy is John Ratcliffe. He's the current CIA director. So he's basically sold his own CIA director down the river, threw him under the bus
of
because he
course.
they say he didn't fix it the last time.
He
I don't
don't
know.
care.
Yeah. And John Solomon, who's another one of his guys, actually did, speaking of, votes not changed, he actually said no actual votes were changed. So, and then that's John Solomon, someone actually working for him
Right.
right now. So
So again,
anyway,
if I may, again, no evidence, no actual truth behind the accusations and allegations. This is just Trump speaking out of his ass and making up shit and hoping that if you throw enough mud, some will stick.
and I'm afraid it is working. As we've seen over the years, it works.
Over the years,
Unfortunately,
yes. But
It has worked. So,
can we say Islamic Republic of Japan? But okay, okay.
yeah, there's a lot of calls. The 25th Amendment is starting to come up more and more. So the Republicans might actually be on board if the Iran war fucks the economies too much. They might actually call for the 25th Amendment as well. But for now, everything's kind of chugging along. So let me see here. Canadian wildfires. We we've got now representatives wanting to sue Canada because they've got fires. They're sending letters to Canada saying, "Hey, stop having wildfires. I think
Yeah, because
we're gonna sue you."
they want to continue wildfires. I
Yeah.
yeah,
So
just
yeah, Canada's
throwing
sitting
that
there
out.
going, yeah, we want to keep burning our country down. Thanks for contacting us. We'll put them out right now and we'll be
Just
done.
because you asked, we'll actually go now fetch some water and put it out.
And then we'll put it out. We were just gonna let them burn, but hey, thanks for contacting us. We totally
Thanks for
missed it.
helping.
Thanks for
Yeah,
thanks for helping.
thanks for your support. Yeah.
Let me see. We've got a fellow who was Gerald Perez, who was the teleprompt operator for the president.
Yeah.
Made $100,000 in the prediction markets because he knew what was going to be on Trump's speeches. Hey, welcome to America in 2026 here. So, but
So my question, honey, only 100,000 over
well,
how many years of managing his teleprompter? Was that the best he could do? I
well,
think they're
go ahead.
disappointed in him. He could have done much better.
Well, he probably doesn't make much of a salary, and Kelsey's only been around a real thing for 3 years. So he couldn't have made any money out the first administration, but and he's got to use his own money. It's actually probably pretty good considering the salary that he makes, and he's got to pay his bills, so he's only got so much left to bet. You think he could have got a loan? You think he could have got a small business administration loan or something and made more? I mean, the guy from the army, there was a guy from the army a couple months ago who made about 400,000. So
Well, see, now he was good. All right.
maybe he thought if he only had 100,000, he would go under the radar and not.
Okay, let's give him that. Okay.
Yeah, hashtag Mad King Donnie, right? We gotta get that.
Mhm.
We gotta make that go viral.
There you go.
All right. There's been a Treasury executive fired, Kenneth Keys. He refused to implement the IRS. There's an IRS ruling that said that none of the Trump family could get audited ever again. Apparently, as part of that slush fund deal a couple of months ago.
Mm.
Part of that was that you could never audit the Trump family ever again. Kenneth Keys refused to implement that, and Scott Bessent promptly fired him because of it. So
The
that's what
last
you
honest guy? Okay.
Kenneth Keys might be the last honest guy left in this administration, and what did it get him?
No, actually, it's probably a badge of honor.
I agree. I agree. At least he can sleep at night, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
So, let me see. And then I got one last thing. And this is very disappointing, honey. I know you were worried about this. Is that the Sophie point has been banned by the WNBA. So
Huh.
we talked about Caitlin Clark, who's
Right.
basically the most popular. She's not quite the best player in the league, but she's definitely the most popular player in
Play
the
with the
W.
fans, maybe not with the
Yeah,
players.
not with the other players, but she's popular with the fans.
Yeah,
There's definitely been a huge up spike in viewership of the WNBA.
she's bringing it. Mhm.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a different. So another woman on her team, she's on the same team as Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, has been kind of the enforcer for Caitlin. So whenever Caitlin gets beat up, there's this Sophie Cunningham, her name is, and she's actually not really that big of a person. They're about the same size. Her and Caitlin Clark are about the same size.
Mhm.
But Sophie Cunningham is in there just being a maniac, defending her and being all cocky and defending her team. And she's got this maneuver she does where she'll just point at somebody and like kind of taunting
To
them,
intimidate?
like
Okay, like, "I'm coming after you next,
I'm
bitch,"
coming after
kind of
you. I'm
thing.
coming after you. It's and she points at the other person, and it's become kind of a meme. So you can Google the Sophie point, and
Okay.
it's basically just her pointing her finger at someone. I'm coming for you, that kind of thing. And the WNBA has now banned all their marketing partners from using the Sophie point in their marketing material. Right, right. So they can't put it on shirts or other advertisements or anything. They don't want any people making money off it. They think it's derogatory and all that. And I think it's fairly harmless. It could be a lot worse. There's a lot more gestures that she could have done that looked a lot worse. But
Right.
the Sophie Cunningham point has been banned for all marketing
All
materials with the.
marketing stuff, but couldn't she actually continue to do it herself on the
I think she
court?
can. I think there's nothing stopping her from doing it on the court.
Okay.
And I don't think she'll get a technical foul or anything. We'll find out. I'm gonna watch the next Indiana Fever game whenever that is, see if she gets a
Okay.
technical foul. But it's kind of dumb. It's a fairly harmless thing, and I'm kind of into it myself. I'm pointing at my people, my coworkers at work, going, "I'm coming after you, man." But so it's kind of a bummer. But we'll see. Sophie Cunningham, she's actually probably the biggest beneficiary of this whole Caitlin Clark thing because Caitlin Clark is popular just naturally, but her teammate who's kind of defending her is becoming more and more popular. She's very pretty. She's been called to a UFC fight. She got to be the card girl at one of the UFC fights and stuff. She's really banking on her popularity here. She's taking advantage of it, that's for sure. So,
Good for her.
yep.
It's, not a small thing to be the enforcer for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and she's pretty savvy. She's saying, we don't really make a lot of money here as basketball players. I've got to increase my brand, so she's kind of thinking ahead a little bit.
Good for her.
Yep. So,
Just wait till I do that at work to my friends on the tech team. Yeah.
which yeah, if they're not sports fans,
You
they
won't get
probably
it?
won't get it, but you got to go with the point, So,
Okay.
all right, anyway, that's all I got, hun.
Well, that was good. That was interesting. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. As always, please follow, subscribe, or share. We're on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
Thank you for listening to episode 27.
27. Thank you. Goodbye.